So in this episode, we're going to be talking about Sucker Punch. Yeah, we're going to talk about Sucker Punch. And I started thinking to myself, do I like Sucker Punch so much? Do I like Sucker Punch so much? Because it's a film that, steers the angle of women. Like, this film, it has no element of man in it, basically. Like, I mean, of course, it's made by a male director, I think. I assume so, because most films are. Not like nowadays, because obviously the search for female directors, it's here, it's here and it's about, and it's current. So, yes, it was directed by Zack Snyder. But Zack is a very good director. So, if we say that, he's a very good director. So, it's like, we're not going to really be, like, too on that. Do you know what I mean? Too on the fact that, like, oh, like, he's a guy and he directed this film. So, we're not going to be too much on that, You see, like, Zack Snyder, in terms of his did I say discography? Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Sorry. Yeah, he did films like Man of Steel. So like the Superman films. He did Batman versus Superman. He did Legends of the Guardians. Oh yes, the Owl film. Moving on, guys. Sorry, I was like the Owl film, but yeah, like. So it's like he doesn't. It's not like he makes bad films. That's what I mean. So it's like he made Sucker Punch, right? And rightly so. Oh my gosh, you guys know he has 8 kids. Sorry, that's not even relevant. Um, him having 8 kids is not relevant, but I was just saying that he has 8 children. So okay. So yeah, I love Sucker Punch so much, right? So because it was oh my gosh, this film was Snyder's first film based on an original concept, and that the film stars Emily Browning as Baby Doll, a young woman who is committed to a mental institution. As she collects, hold on, it's coming. Yeah, as she collects items she needs to escape, she enters a series of fantasy worlds where she and her fellow inmates are strong, experienced warriors. And honestly, and the ensemble in this film, Emily Browning, Vanessa Hudgens. And like, no, when I saw Vanessa Hudgens in this film, I was like, damn, like, Vanessa Hudgens from High School Musical? You mean to tell me that she's not singing? No. And this film, right? This film's also very dark, innit? Well, I guess because she's in a mental institution, sorry. It is a bit dark. Do you get it? Like, it's fair. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it makes you think of, because when you think of mental institution, you think Girl Interrupted. But I think, obviously, what makes Sucker Punch, like, obviously way better is, I think, oh yeah, I was also writing my article, but I'm going to stop now, because obviously I'm doing the podcast episode. But yeah, like, what makes Sucker Punch so good versus, if you say Girl Interrupted, is obviously the dream sequences. Like, that's the whole standout. And I was also saying in my article that, like, Inception and this film being a year apart is very, very sus. Like, they both have dream elements to them. So I'm like, what is that about? Did you guys meet up and have a conversation? And you both said, okay, that's cool. We're both going to do a film that has a dream element in it. We're just not going to make them the same. Because anyways, let's go. It says a young woman named Baby Doll accidentally shoots her sister in a struggle with their abusive stepfather. Their stepfather had murdered their mother and discovered that she left everything to her daughters in her will. Oh, yes. I used to rewatch Sucker Punch all the time, but I haven't watched it in a while. It's like, I don't know, it's a film you obviously would like, yes, that you revisit. Like, it's the same way how I revisit Twilight a lot of the time, and I feel like with Sucker Punch, I do revisit this, because it's just very, very, very good. And it's the first time I ever heard, like, It's the first time I ever heard, I think, a Bjork song, and I was I was captured with that Bjork song. But yeah, so then he commits Baby Doll to a hospital for the mentally insane and bribes orderly Blue Jones to forge psychiatrist. Talking about English. Psychiatrist Vera Gorski's signature to have Baby Doll lobotomized. Which, yeah, spoiler alert, she does get lobotomized, basically. That's the roundabout. What happens, obviously, like, in the end, and that's a spoiler alert, so I'll say, what was this? 542. 542 spoiler alert, right? But yes, she does, in the end, she does get lobotomized when the escape is carried out. But that was, like, of course that was going to happen, though, because, yeah, he wanted her lobotomized as soon as she got in there, bro. But, like, I'm saying, like, obviously, yeah, I'm saying that, like, that she gets lobotomized at the end, as a, what's it called? Yeah, so she gets lobotomized at the end as, that was her form of, punishment. But I suppose she was gonna get that anyway, I think. Like, obviously, she was gonna get that anyway, because that's why he put her in there. But anyways, and then look, okay, Baby Doll slips into a fantasy world in which the asylum is a brothel owned by mobster Blue, and she and the other patients are sex slaves. I mean, okay. This is the thing about Wikipedia. They always have to put things so weird. Like, sex slaves? Yes and no. Don't make it weird. She befriends fellow patients Amber, Blondie, Rocket, and Rocket's sister, Sweet Pea. Oh, Sweet Pea. Right. Actually, that's who I was getting muddled up with, because Sweet Pea doesn't escape. Rocket does. So, yeah. Because obviously, I remember when I was thinking about this film, I think mainly everybody dies except Baby Doll and Rocket. You know, that's what I mean. I would need a refresh, but I'm sure, because I know that, like, Sweet Pea dies, yes, and then obviously I think also Vanessa Hudgens' character dies too, if I'm not wrong, because that's in the film. That's where they get caught out. They get caught out in the film when Blue finds out about their escape, and then he stabs them. Or he stabs one of them, or a few of them. Oh, if I'm not wrong. But no, like, yeah. But he goes on a crazy thing, yeah, and then he kind of just, like, he just does murdering. So yeah, so I just know that only one escapes, and it's not even Baby Doll. That's actually what's the craziest thing to me, actually, in this film. Baby Doll came into this place, and she managed to get one person out, but the one person she got out wasn't even herself. I said, hello? These people have been in here already, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? But before Baby Doll got in there, they were already in there. So you were their ticket out, but you didn't get yourself out. Oh, it was so sad. But then Baby Doll was a cutie, like, and she was like, you know, we knew she was gonna go down that road, because, like, she just seemed to be a very nice person. And look, the name Baby Doll, she was she was a cutie pie. Like, of course she was gonna let, yeah, at least one person out, if it's not even her. She was just like, yeah, you have to survive. It's not that I'm gonna survive, because obviously that can't that can't be the case. But right, what does it say? So hold on. Yeah, Dr. Gorski is their dance instructor. She's also the psychiatrist. Blue intends to sell Baby Doll's virginity to the high roller. In reality, the doctor scheduled to perform her lobotomy. Whoa! Guys, I'm even learning new things by reading this. Right? I literally am. I'm even knowing that, like, damn, Baby Doll performs, because she already knew about her lobotomy. That's crazy. Baby doll performs an erotic dance during which she fantasizes she's in feudal Japan meeting the wise man. Yeah, the wise man. He's the guy in this film. He's the guy. The wise man tells her that she needs 4 items to escape: a map, fire, a knife, and a key. I love that too. There's a fifth unrevealed item that she can find, which requires a deep sacrifice and will bring a perfect victory. Deep sacrifice. 2 deaths. But let's move on. She fights 3 samurai giants, then finds herself back in the brothel. Yeah, she convinces all girls to join her escaping. Right. And she fantasizes her fantasies. Yep. Okay. Because, guys, I don't even want to read this whole plot to you because that's not fair. Like, I don't do that. I always say to myself, whenever I'm doing an episode and I'm talking about a film or a show, I will always put a spoiler warning if I'm going to talk about, like, a spoiler. But, like, I just don't want to ruin it. You're ruining it, but I don't want to ruin it because Suckerpunch is a great film. It's a great film. 2011. Damn. Because when I first watched this film, no, I was taken by this film. I genuinely was. Yeah, I was very, very, very. Yeah. Do you see? And no, okay, so another spoiler, like 11:28, so 11:28, yeah. I didn't, because I never realized that. Like, in the ending of Suckerpunch, I never realized, like, as in, no, I realized that okay, no, fine, I'm right. I didn't obviously realize she got a lobotomy. I wouldn't have been able to comprehend that, as in the first time that I watched Suckerpunch anyways. But it's just like, she got the lobotomy, and then she couldn't speak. And then I remember in the ending, Blue's like, why is she not saying anything? The guy goes off his nut. Like, he's like, why is she not speaking? And why is she just staring at me like that? And we said, bro, like, you actually just rewired her brain. He's like that's what was so crazy. He was like, why is she not speaking? Where's the light in her face gone? We said, bro, like, you took it out. You took it out. Like, that's what's crazy. He takes out the light, and then when he realizes he takes it out, he's like, oh. he's like, oh, like, we didn't mean to do that. And I'm like, hello, what do you mean you didn't mean to do that? You definitely did. You definitely did. Because, yeah, sorry guys, I was trying to remember who dies in the film. It's all of them, bro. I told you. It's all of them. I'm sorry. Like, Amber and Blondie die. And then so does Sweet Pea. It says on Wikipedia that he fatally shoots Amber and Blondie. I thought it was with a knife. Bro, look, I don't know. Like, I thought it was with a knife, but if he says shoots, then that's cool. Yeah. Oh, I do remember the fire, though. I do remember the fire, but I don't remember that he shoots them. I thought he had a knife. But if we said knife gun, the semantics, whatever, they die. So, like, that's it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I said, yes. And that. Oh, wait. No, Sweet Pea, sorry. I'm right. Sorry. I was even doing this whole episode, I'm like, yeah, no, I was right about the fact that Sweet Pea is the only person to escape and that Rocket dies because Rocket dies in the last fantasy. Sorry, in the very, very last fantasy that happens. And then obviously then the fantasies end because obviously Baby Doll's like, we can't romanticize this. Like, this is grim anymore. Do you get it? She's like, somebody dies, fantasies end. And I'm like, that's so valid. Of course she wouldn't have been able to carry on doing the fantasies because somebody died and then it gets all dark and like, yeah, they have to plan their way out. But hold on a second. Oh, one thing I also loved, like, I'm gonna end this off soon in a minute, because actually, with Suckerpunch, yeah, no, I could talk about it for ages. But it's short and sweet. Like, I basically read out the plot to the film to you guys already. Like, baby doll gets stuck in an institution. She meets a bunch of girls who are already in the institution. She explains her escape plan to them. They say they want to join on her escape plan. She goes, what's the stuff? She fantasizes. She fantasizes their escape. And then in the end, baby doll does not succeed, but at least one of them do. So that's my summary. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the sum up that I just did, rather than the Wikipedia one that I kind of read in this episode. But I meant that's mine though, because obviously that's just the basic summary. I just think, obviously the most standout thing in this film is the fantasies. Like, they are so good. The music is great. Like, wow, like, Sucker Punch has a great score. That's what I said. I was talking about Bjork, and yeah, it has a great score. Who even did this? Like, I have to search that up too, guys. Who did the Sucker Punch soundtrack? Because that soundtrack is amaze balls, bro. It's amaze balls. Like, I'm sorry, it's so good. Who was it by? Water Tower. Oh, and it says Emily Browning. She sings on 3 songs. Bye. I didn't know she was a singer. I'm working late because I'm a singer. Sorry, okay, no, but what? Yeah. It was by various artists. And then director Zack Snyder wanted the songs to add depth, dimension, and meaning to the fantasy aspects of the film. Because yes, actually, fantasy is Sucker Punch's genre, if you're honest about it. If you want to say what Sucker Punch's genre is, it's fantasy / what? I don't know. Fantasy / drama? I don't know, bro, but probably something similar to that. See, wow, it says the album received generally positive reviews and critics considered it one of the best soundtracks of the year. Duh. And yeah, She Sings Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. That's fair. That one's a banger. That one is a banger. This is what Zach says. The girls in this movie kick ass, so the soundtrack had to kick ass. Yeah. I really want every aspect of Sucker Punch to feel unexpected. The look, the feel, and the sound of what Baby Doll and the others go through. I think that the music in this film had to be such a great surprise and to really help tell the story in a way that only something as primitive and as much a part of the human experience as music can. Oh, another thing I was going to add on about Sucker Punch is I quite love, like, the fact that, yeah, we're told the story through Baby Doll's eyes. Every time, obviously, they do the shot of where we just see Emily Browning's eyes, and you're like, whoa, we know we're in for a ride. We know we're in for it. We said, wow, we're going into the fantasy world, and that's just lovely. It's the same way. So then, obviously, like, I'm thinking to myself how in this episode it's like the thing that you can compare the two is Inception and Sucker Punch, right? And even in Inception, the most thing you know is when, obviously, yes, when they go into the dream world is when they get attached to the thing. What do they get? Yeah, they had those things where they get attached to, then they'd close their eyes, and then when they wake up, they'd be in another world. Do you know what I mean? And it would be the same thing. It'd be the same thing for Baby Doll. It's the same dream aspect, practically, of, like, obviously falling and, like, sleeping. Of course, like I said, no, Baby Doll's one is more so, like, she obviously does it while she's dancing. So, and I think that is also another interesting thing in the film, because it's not even like you see Baby Doll dancing. Like, no, we never see her dance at all. It's because, obviously, like I said, the story is told through her eyes. So when you go into her eyes, we're obviously just seeing the sequence play out, but we're not seeing her performance, or the performance that they're seeing, which is so, oh, it's so like, we're like, it's so abstract. Do you know what I mean? It's so abstract because, like, oh, yeah, so it's so abstract because, like, obviously they, it's pretty funny because, like, yeah, it's so abstract because it's like we're not seeing Baby Doll dance, and then there, when after the sequence finishes, they're like, oh my gosh, Baby Doll, you were so great, and we're like, what? We didn't even we didn't even see anything. We're like, we don't know if Baby Doll can dance. We don't know what it is that you guys are seeing. We are seeing her, like, fight people. Like, obviously, even like the first sequence when Army of Me plays, yeah, we're like, oh, maybe, okay, is that what you guys were seeing? Because if so, then well done to you. Do you get it? Like, if that's what you guys are seeing, we were seeing that as well. Like, do you know what I mean? But, like, we were seeing it in a different way. But damn, like, gosh. It's just like, I can't even explain it. I know that people have said, yeah, they don't even like Suckerpunch, which is so weird. I'm like, why? Why don't you like the film? Why don't you like it? And I think, oh, in the obviously I'm doing an article about it right now, but that's like, it's on the list for movies that I consider classics, right? And, like, obviously Baby Doll is a classic. I mean, not Baby Doll. She's in the film. But no, so Sucker Punch is a classic because yeah, it came out in 2011. And, like, I feel as though what I tried to say in the intro of my article is, like, a classic has to be considered as, like, like, I don't know. I want to say to myself, oh, can a film, I don't know, just come out this year or last year? Can it be considered a classic? But I said to myself, not really. I think that, like, because I think, oh yeah, I say in my article, the question is actually, what makes a film a classic? Is it by its time era? And it's precisely that, though. A classic is considered by its time era. You can't necessarily say that, I don't know. For example, when I went to go watch Venom the Last Dance the other day, you wouldn't want to just say, oh, Venom the Last Dance is a classic. It's not a classic. It just came out this year. And it hasn't had time to, what's it called? It hasn't had time to, what's the word? It hasn't had time to settle, to, like, have dust. Like, it's not got any of that, Like, you want a film to have, like, dust or be around for eons, like that kind of thing. It's just as, like, I think the main two that are on my list right now is Sucker Punch and The Wizard of Oz, right? And of course, The Wizard of Oz is a classic. It came out in 1939. Like, who was even alive then? I meant, like, no, people were alive, but, like, I meant, like, my generation or Gen Zers, like, we weren't alive then. So, like, and The Wizards of Oz is a classic. I mean, it has Judy Garland in it, and everybody knows it. It's a classic, probably, in musicals. Well, I think about it, I need to add it in my musicals article as well. But I mean, excuse me, in my musicals article part 2, and I forgot. I mean, I was talking about Oliver in that article, and obviously Oliver's a classic, and we know that. But it's just to say, I think to myself, maybe the word classic, though, is what's the word? It's an objective definition, though. I mean, it's to say that, like, it probably is something people will use that word for, like, different films. That's what I mean. I don't think maybe that it does, like defined to a time era, but that anybody can use the word classic. Like that's what I'm trying to say. I think to myself maybe that's what it is, but I don't really I don't really know because I'm just like I just think classics are about um yeah, I just think classics are about how long they've been here for and how much of an impact they've made on people. Like I said, I want to talk about Sucker Punch because it's an underrated classic. Like I don't really hear people talk about it all that much, and it came out in 2011. That's a very very long time ago now, and like yeah, from now people still don't. Like I mean, now from 2011 till now, like nobody ever really talks about it. Nobody ever really lauds it, and that even for me, then that makes it even much more of a classic because like yeah, so it's like maybe classic is like, maybe it's what's the word, it's classified to your own personal opinion. Maybe that's also what it's about. It's more so what you think a classic is rather than what it actually is. That's that's a quote from me because I don't know, man. I'm just making up as I go along. Like I say that because like I don't know, like even when I talk about films, like I'm not an experienced person to be talking about films. I love talking about films though, but hey, do I know anything about them? No. I know like what goes into them, but I don't know the in-depthness that people like film journalists or what's the word? Film journalists, film critics. I don't know what goes into like I don't know what you need to have that. It's like you say to yourself, "Oh yeah, am I a film critic?" But just because it's like it's funny, we as people will believe we're film critics because we post a 5-star or a 4 or like we post a rating on Letterboxd and then we get like I don't know 10 likes. And then we'll come out like I'm a film critic and we're like no, like we're not a film critic, we just like films. Like we're not a film critic, we just like films. But there are film critics in the world and they have what extensive careers. Like I don't know, I think to myself like obviously having my podcast, I think to myself am I trying to make myself into a film critic? Pretty much though, because it's the groundwork actually. It's in talking about films and all that to say that, this is my digital footprint. People will come back to this podcast and they will say, do you know what Shania likes talking about? She liked talking about films. And the time that she spent talking about these films, it practically makes her a film critic. I mean, guys, you hear me talking about this stuff for like 20 minutes max or more. That's 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes or more of my day. Like, that means it's a part of my career. Do you get it? To be talking about films. It adds up. But anyway, I think that you guys should watch Sucker Punch, right? I think that oh, I don't know, man. I wanted to say, I was gonna say that statement. You know when it's like you watch something and you're like, this one, it's never gonna come around again. Like yeah. Sucker Punch is that. Every time I watch it, actually, every time I watch Sucker Punch, I do feel like that. Actually. Like it's like every time I watch Sucker Punch, I'm like, I don't think I've ever watched a film like Sucker Punch ever again. And it's true though. I don't think I have. Not a film that's really like, I don't know, not a film that's really grabbed me. Even though someone mentioned to me the other day, Killers of the, Killers of a Flower, is it Flower Moon? Hold on a second. Killers of the Flower Moon. And that was a great film. Like it genuinely was. I mean, it was scary though, because it was practically a true crime film. If you also talk about like if you want to say true crime films as genres, as like so with like Woman of Hour and that as well. Um, that was also um that was also a good film. So I don't know, like with that statement that I said of it being a film that you'll never see again. I mean, yeah, in plotline, no, but like, yeah, I think of course, as we know about films, they get made and they get better. It's evolution. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not to say films don't get better, but then sometimes people will say and they'll debate that films get worse. But I don't know, like, I don't know about that one. I don't know if films get worse. I hope that they get better. And I do think that there's good films still out there now. That's what I mean. That's why I said I didn't really want to like say that statement about Sucker Punch being like, about being, yeah, absolutely great, groundbreaking, because of course I've seen other films that actually, yeah, I've seen other films that are better, but no, I've seen other films that are on the same scale. But I just mean that Sucker Punch is number one to me, though, and that's my obviously personal opinion. Like, anybody else could say that they don't agree with that, but I just think, like how I've said in my article, yeah, it says films that are classics that have ruined my life. But hey, Sucker Punch didn't ruin my life, but hey, like, it was a dark film though. It was a dark film. I didn't expect only one of them to escape, but maybe with a film like this, because I think me and my mum was saying about how, like, you want films to have realistic elements, so you're trying to say to yourself, this was a mental institution and only one person could have been able to get out. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have assumed or thought, oh yeah, all five. Like, there was five of these lot, wasn't there? Yeah, there were like five of them. You don't expect that five girls, five, are going to escape from a mental institution. That's insane. Like, no, so, well, one, two, three, four. Yeah, well, no, five including Baby Doll. You didn't expect that all five of them would escape. It wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense, and it wouldn't be real, And it's the type of thing then, like, if the director was to have done to do it that angle and say, oh yeah, all of them got out, then obviously you would have had people saying, though, that's not real, because people don't escape from mental institutions. And if they do, yeah, and if they do, only one of them makes it out. Exactly what I'm saying about Sucker Punch. So, that's why it's like, you can't bash the film too bad, because they made it like somewhat realistic, and it's interesting. They made it somewhat realistic in a film that is full of fantasy, right? A film that is like, basically, it's not real because the sequences aren't real. But like, that's what's so interesting to you also about this film, that the sequences are not real, but everything that's happened behind them is real. Like, that's why, like, when the girl, when no, Rocket, when Rocket gets stabbed by the cook, and we realize, in fact, oh, because obviously in the dream sequence where she's fighting with like robots and that, but like when she gets stabbed by the cook and then the dream sequence ends, we're like, damn, she's actually dead. Like, it's that kind of thing. And I think it's amazing when films have that kind of thing where you're like, like, you have a gasp, because you're like, wow, she's actually dead. And Sucker Punch is a film. It's a film that I will always put people onto. I'll always recommend it. I'm sorry. Till the end of time as well. To the end of time. And it's like, if you like fantasy, then, and fantasy is something that you really like, Sucker Punch is obviously a film for you. I mean, of course, I say to people, like, sure, it's for you, but like, yeah, like, Sucker Punch is dark though. It's because I feel like Sucker Punch is dark away from, like, what's it called? It has elements of like abuse and like rape, and then what else? Yeah, it's got a lot going on. That's what I mean. Like, it has a lot going on. Like, even away from like the escape layers and the dream sequences, when you just think about the fact that like Baby Doll's actually in a mental institution, and she's got like a lot of like guys in there, and like the men like manhandling her and like all that kind of stuff. You're like, yeah, the topic, it's a bit heavy, but like I just think like if you put those things to the side, then you can enjoy the film as a whole. Really, you can enjoy the film as a whole. And I think like how what Zach was saying, like music is like, what's it called? Music is like a candle. It's a candle on a cake, right? I don't know if I've heard that anywhere, but like it is. Music is a candle on a cake to a film. Like you can't have a candle. I mean, you can't have a cake without a candle. Sorry, when you're doing it for a birthday, and it's the same thing that like music has to be a part of a film, and obviously music makes or breaks a film, and Sucker Punch like has that element. Like the music is groundbreaking, and it takes you on a journey, like as all films do, but the music in this film takes you more on a journey because it's so fantasy and action based, and the music is exactly that. Probably even when I finish this this podcast, I'm about to put the Sucker Punch album on, like, and I'm not even joking. You guys be like, are you actually gonna do it? I'm like, no, I am. I am. I'm going to play the soundtrack, and I'm also going to finish off the bit I was writing about it. And then yeah, and that's it. Then I have to move on to another film. But like, yeah, like Sucker Punch is yes. Sucker Punch is in, and the music is great. And the characters are great. And Emily Browning is great. Like, you know what's crazy? I haven't seen Emily Browning in a long film. Sorry, in a while, sorry. Like, hold on a second before, because I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. So, or actually, I might even wrap it up right now, because we're 37 on, guys. We're on 37 on. And thank you so much for listening. As per, watch Sucker Punch from your own opinion. And see you again soon.